Bo, let's talk a little Guards Yankees. Tonight's game's on WKYC.
Yes,
Make sure you guys
everybody
tune in.
lock in tonight. There's not even any basketball to compete with.
Nope.
Lock in Guardians. I was saying basketball. Guardians Yankees game 2 of a 3-game set. Make sure you're watching it on WKYC Channel 3. And game time is at 7, I believe.
6:40's first pitch. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here.
First pitch, that's
on
right.
WKYC. And then tomorrow's game's an afternoon game. But tonight's game on WKYC. Make sure y'all tune in. But let's talk about last night's game, Bull. A back-and-forth affair that obviously did not
Now,
end in the
listen, a
Guardians'
couple
favor.
things I got to say about Gavin Williams. I've lauded him. I've been a huge Gavin Williams guy. When Bybee came up and was a little better than Gavin Williams, I was always, Gavin Williams is better, Gavin Williams is better. He hasn't pitched great in these 2 games against the Yankees. Now, if you watched the game last night, I know it's easy to say he just threw 2 bad pitches. Mm-hmm. It was a weird game because for most of the time he was out there, the Yankees were struggling. Like, he made a lot of hitters look bad. But the pitch he threw to Goldschmidt in the first inning that Goldschmidt took out for a 2-run homer was a cookie. It was right in the middle of the plate.
I don't know what it was. Spot. And I don't know if it was a breaking pitch or whatever.
And it just didn't break.
Yeah.
And then he gives up the home run to McMahon, which they called a double.
Ryan McMahon, yeah.
Yeah. And then they changed it to, and it was a home run. It was the right call. Again, middle. But it was so weird because, like, the rest of the 5 innings, like, he was not overly efficient. But 7 base runners in 5 innings is not bad. But he just, and then the 4th run, I mean, that was just, I don't know. Rocchio had a weird game because he made some amazing defensive plays and he made some terrible defensive plays. And the run that led to the 3rd run for the Yankees was when he tried to turn that double play. I don't know why he threw the ball.
That was beat out from get-go.
He had no chance of getting that double play.
And he threw it and he sailed the ball.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see somebody sail the ball like that from second base. But then he made a tremendous play.
When he tagged the bag.
The bag.
And even the next play when they caught, who was on first after that missed double play? They caught him steal. It was Bellinger, right?
Bellinger, yeah.
They caught him stealing, and Rocchio made a nice grab and tag. But there's sometimes it's weird with Rocchio. He almost is better on the hard plays than he is on some of the route. Yeah. Every once in a while, he just has a brain freeze on like, you can't throw to first. They had no chance of getting in that double play
at all,
and that cost him a run, and maybe cost him the game. We'll never know how it would have turned out from there. But I also, guys, I don't know what you guys thought about this. I understand that Kyle Manzardo got off to a bad start. But he's been great since the beginning of May.
Yeah.
He stunk in April. Mm-hmm. He's been very good since the beginning of May. I don't like pinch hitting for him in the 5th inning with Rhys Hoskins. I know you want this platoon split, okay, but who did the Yankees even bring in there? I can't even remember who they brought in where they pinch hit Hoskins for Manzardo.
I don't know.
Who was the left? Oh, it was. He's been good for the Yankees. Who's the lefty reliever, Mike, that the Yankees brought in? Hedrick. Hedrick's his name.
Sorry, I was looking at Manzardo split since.
Yeah, Hedrick. They bring in Hedrick. I know he's been pretty good for the Yankees, but give me a break.
Yeah.
They didn't bring in Tarek Skubal to pitch, and it's easy for me to say it now. And I know he did have 2 hits last night, but then because you had nobody left on the bench besides Hedges. You couldn't pinch hit for Bailey in the 10th inning.
Yeah. Manzardo should be in the lineup every day.
I mean, at this point,
he can hit lefties.
Why are you pinch hitting for him in the 5th inning? Especially because in the 5th inning, they're going to change. It's not like there's just going to be a lefty the rest of the game anyway.
Right.
So I didn't like that move by Stephen Vogt at all.
Real quick on the Manzardo, I had his splits up.
Yeah.
This season against righties, he's hitting 203. Against lefties, he's hitting 355. Now, granted,
I didn't even realize that.
31 at-bats against lefties versus 148 against righties.
He's always hit lefties.
Tiny sample size. But
he's always
this
been able to hit
season, against lefties, he's hitting 355. He's slugging 484 with a 912 OPS.
Yeah, I mean, that's just silly. I get it, Rhys Hoskins is good against lefties, but save him for another spot against the lefty. Right. Don't take out Manzardo.
5th inning is way too early for me.
And this is not a second – I mean, it is a second guess, but it worked, so you could argue that it's an unfair second guess. But I did not like bringing in Kate Smith in the 8th inning in that situation. I know it's
tie game, right? What's the tie?
It was a tie game, and it was like it was first and second or whatever it was. Like, don't overdo it. I get it. In the 80s and the 90s, guys would pitch. Guys don't pitch multiple innings now. To do it in June, I know it's the Yankees, and it's not necessary. Don't overdo it there.
He did strike out the side in the ninth.
Well, in the ninth. Yeah. Listen, he got the double play, but you know what? I just didn't love that.
They got lucky because he only threw 22 pitches.
Yeah, right. They got lucky. It worked out because he immediately hit into that crazy double play. That's where Rocchio made that play. But I didn't love it. Gaddis was bad last night. He put him in that situation. And then with Armstrong in the 10th, I did not feel good about that.
Oh, no, that was game time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah.
And he's lucky it wasn't worse because whoever led off the inning, and I can't remember who it was.
Was it Bellinger?
No,
Bellinger got the hit to knock in the two.
Ben Rice walked.
Yeah,
he walked. Rice.
No, but before that, so
was it
whoever led off the whoever led off the inning hit a deep fly ball to left that Quan caught at the wall.
Grisham.
Yeah, Grisham.
Who was it?
Grisham.
Yeah,
Grisham. Right. Yeah. He's got the weird looking porn mustache. I don't know what's happening with that
this
guy.
This dude, man. Yeah, he's.
Oh no! Hold on.
Was it not Grisham? I don't remember.
Grisham got out. He walked Ben Rice.
But it was Grisham. He flew out to the track.
Goldschmidt flew out to the track.
Oh, maybe
and
it was
then Bellinger.
I don't remember. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was Goldschmidt. But either way, like Armstrong got lucky. It wasn't even worse.
I'll be scared. Look, I don't know. I'll be scared when Rice get up. I'm like, man, this dude.
He's having a great year.
This dude look like every time he get up, he looks like he's gonna get a hit.
Man, if it weren't for Ben Rice and Cam Schlittler, the Yankees would probably be barely over 500. Yeah. Also, the Guardians had a good chance in the 8th. They had first and second, one out with Bazzana and Jose coming up. And that Tim Hill, who looks like he should be, sitting playing a banjo in some southern town, and doesn't strike anybody out, but he's good at getting outs. He did a good job, got Bazzana and Jose to both pop up in that situation. And we know Jose's been a Yankee killer. So tough loss. Martínez, who we're going to talk about later this hour how bad he's been, but he hit the big home run yesterday.
I got to start jinxing guys on the rundown before games every day now.
He put a charge in that. That was right center.
That was over 400 feet.
I was like, okay.
That was a bomb, and that gave them the lead, and then unfortunately they blew it. So the Guardians they're not playing great right now. They've lost 6 of their last 9 games.
Well, we talked before about this is a tough stretch.
Yeah.
So if they go 500 through this.
Yeah. They're a game under 500 against teams over 500. Where do you think that ranks in the American League?
Probably toward the top. You just want to be 500 against good teams.
So what do you think? Give me out of 15 teams in the American League,
third.
Where does that rank?
They're a game under 500.
Game under 500.
Against
third.
Teams that are over 500?
Over 500, yeah.
Well, let's see. How many teams is that? Chicago, New York?
Well, it's some National League teams, too. You've played.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm with G. I think it's probably, I'd say third or fourth.
You're right. It's fourth. They have the 4th best record. There's only 2 teams over 500 again. The Yankees are actually, even with the win last night, are 5-10 against teams under 500. Not only do they have a bad record, teams over 500, they've played the least amount of games. You look at the National League, they're playing way more teams over 500 because there's way more teams. But the Yankees have actually not been good.
And they've been terrible without Judge the last few years. They're way under 500 in games. He's out months now.
Yeah.
Wasn't this their first win in extra innings? I think this was the first win.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was the first extra inning.
But when Martínez hit the home run, I'm like, all right, they're gonna win this game. But unfortunately, Gaddis, who's been better after a bad start, I know they didn't kill him that inning, but
he seems like he struggles.
I don't totally trust him right now.
But more than I think about in the past, like I used to think Gaddis come in and get him up out of here, but he's been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, he hasn't been as sharp this year. I'll tell you, listen, I in a perfect world, the Guardians get a bat, a starting pitcher, and a relief pitcher, maybe 2 relief pitchers, but the priority is pitching. They need more pitching.
I agree.
Not hit it. You could get it up. I like it all, being greedy.
There's some recency bias because Cantillo hasn't pitched well lately.
Right.
Would you trust Ciccone or Cantillo in a playoff game?
100% no on Ciccone.
Ciccone, Cantillo, and Bybee.
I think Cantillo's a reliever in the play.
He probably is. That's why you need another starter.
Yeah.
And I want that guy to be ahead of Bybee and Messick. As good as Messick's been, we don't know what he's going to, he's never pitched a full season.
I don't think you were on when we had, you do a show with Zach. I'm sure you guys have talked about this. But I advocated for Skubal, for them to go after Skubal. Now I understand it's interdivision and end of the contract.
I mean, you're going to have to give up a boatload.
And Zach made the point of they will not trade him here. It would be
No,
admitting defeat. But this is the perfect year.
I think the guy to go after is Freddie Peralta.
What about Alcantara?
He's been very unreliable the last 2 years.
I don't know what his contract is. What's Peralta's contract?
He's a free agent at the end of the
See,
year.
I would look at rentals.
Yeah.
Because of the uncertainty of next year and the work stoppage and everything. Go after guys that are at the end of their contracts.
I like.
Who knows when we're going to play baseball again?
First of all, Freddie Peralta, has obviously experience in the playoffs with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
He's having a good year, not a great year for the Mets, but that's a bad situation. They've been terrible. He's been an ace with Milwaukee. To me, you put him in here, I go Gavin Williams, Freddie Peralta, Messick, Bybee. That's a good rotation for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Peralta, knock on wood, he never gets hurt. He hasn't missed much time due to injury. I think he's the right guy because he's a rental. Yeah, listen.
So is Alcantara, by the way. He'd be a rental.
He'd be a rental too, but he's not been as good. I mean, what's his ERA this year? It's not great.
Alcantara,
I bet you it's in the
ERA
fours.
this year, 4.33.
Yeah.
How much of that is the environment he's in?
Yeah, but he's been injured a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
has.
I think Alcantara at his best is a little better than Freddie Peralta, but I think Freddie Peralta is consistently pitches better than, especially the last 2 years. So but I'd trade for either of them. Fine.
Sure.
But you know what? Go get a relief pitcher too, and you can make a trade with either the. You could get 2 pitchers from the Mets. Go get who's in their pen that I like. Brooks Raley is a guy I like in their pen.
What's Espino been doing? I meant to look.
He's not pitching well.
No.
His ERA. I don't know. I think his strikeout numbers are good, but I think his ERA was in the 5s. Alamon's pitched well.
Yeah.
You do
He
know,
was up here
you
briefly.
do know they ain't getting none of these dudes right.
I mean, these are not.
I'm just not saying they're
yesterday
unrealistic.
I was talking about Trout and I was talking about Buxton.
I mean, but I haven't.
And I know those guys are 99.9% unrealistic.
I just haven't seen.
We haven't seen it. There's no reason to have faith that the Guardians will make a bold, a move this bold.
If they
haven't done it in 10 years, but they have to.
I mean, if they don't do it this year, then no. They'll never do it.
They haven't done anything in a decade, basically.
Right.
They have to do it this
with
year.
With where the payroll is this year, with how wide open the American League is, with the amount of capital they have in prospects now. If they don't do it now, they're never going to do it.